Live from the internet and recorded on March 21st, 2019. This is episode 47 of the Crystal Chronicles, your official, unofficial, top-rated, number one favorite Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast. My name is Pierre. I am joined by Mino and Mark. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Pierre. Good evening, Mino.
Let me know.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, we've been told pre-show to stop saying Mino, that the correct
No, I didn't say
pronunciation was
that.
Mino.
I
So
said you can say it however you want. I don't care.
I've almost slipped with something really not PG-13. So, but I didn't go there. I'm glad I got that, before I went out of the mouth. So, how was your week, gentlemen?
Excellent until this event dropped.
Oh my God, same thing.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. But just one thing: how the hell is that even not named? What the Deuce? What a
What the
missed
deuce?
opportunity! Seriously, anything than that is subpar.
Yeah.
And,
I don't even know what the event's actually called.
Was
actually,
it a gentle strength. I believe.
it's called Gentle Strength.
Mm.
So, Star Shadow wants to know how I pronounce the word Minotaur. So there we go, Minotaur. Okay, I see what you're doing right there. I see what you did. Minotaur.
Oh, Mancol, thank you for noticing my new avatar. We'll talk about that in the show.
All right. So before we get to DFFOO, I just want to say I've completed the first part of the story of the amazing game called Another Hidden. The cat between time and future, or something like that. It's an incredible game. If you have not heard of it, it's the game that was made by, I think, the creator or the producer or part of the crew that was behind Chrono Trigger. It's available for free on iOS and Android. It's awesome. It's incredible. I love it. So yeah, if you haven't tried that, the story is pretty good. So yeah, just give it a try. It's a good game. Good game.
I'm still playing it on the side, and I do enjoy it. And the fact that it doesn't take any stamina means I'll keep playing it. But I need to take a break every now and then, because every time you get to a new town, I think they throw like 12 side quests at you.
Well, here's the thing that's kind of sad though. It stops at some point. There's actually no longer any quests like that. And when you say there's no stamina, that's kind of true and not true. There's I don't know if you got to that part yet where it's called another dungeon.
Oh yeah.
When you can
you
run,
spend it for the
yeah,
grinding, right?
yeah, for the grinding, pretty much. You can
Can I
run.
ask you
Yeah.
a quick question? Is when you finish what's out, does it complete the story, or is it like a to be continued for future updates?
Well, it kind of sort of completes the story. You get like the casserole and everything, but then it's clear that it lets you know there will be more. So there's probably going to be like another chapter, episode, or something added to it afterward. So
Okay.
good game. But DFFOO is the name of the game, or actually what you guys tuned in to learn more about. So let's get onto that with this week's news. First off, there's been a game update on the 20th. That would be yesterday. And with that update, they extended a couple of login bonuses and events and draws because there had been yet again UI issues with Android devices. So a whole bunch of login bonuses, the Fang event, uh, and the Forgotten City thing. Anyway, they're all back for a few days. So if you had not had a chance to complete this event, it might be the right time for you to get right onto that and get your login bonuses. Another thing, they've addressed two issues. First, they added 1,000 gems mission for completing Act 2, Chapter 1 in a hard mode. But I think, and it's something we talked about last week, they've also fixed the in hard mode the quest 111 that had like the insane turn level, turn amount for completion. I think it was 60 turns, but the enemies were really, really hard to beat in that amount of turns. And they've hot fixed that. But has anybody before the
So
fix
disappointed. So disappointed.
really?
Yeah, so disappointed. I do not believe anyone was able to do it in 60 turns.
No,
Yeah,
nobody
no.
did. Okay.
No, that's impossible. But there's a conspiracy theory. I saw it when they fixed it. People were saying it was on purpose because before the fix, there was no 1,000 gem reward for the clear, and now there is. I don't know. That's a crazy conspiracy. I think they just forgot to put the 1,000 completion gems in, right?
How would that be conspiracy? I
I,
don't get it.
they thought, oh, because they didn't put the 1,000 gem reward in beforehand, they knew people would not be able to beat it, and they only put it in after they fixed it because of that. I think it's a ridiculous
This is
theory.
okay. I've been a developer of many things. I know how these things work in the back end. This is by far one of the most retarded conspiracy I've ever heard in my life. Do you realize the amount of effort it would take someone to screw over a mission instead of just going in and adding the stupid bonus? I mean, try to imagine this. You've got a box that's packaged and it's ready to ship out, but you forgot to put the packaging slip in it. The simple thing to do would be to open the box, put the slip in, tape it back. But instead, what you do is that you take a pen and you start writing the content of the packing slip on the cardboard, line by line. You redo the. How does that make? It does not. That's not how the world works, people.
That is the kind of care and joy that the Square Enix team has for us, the players of DFFOO. They go the extra mile.
Right? I just like to think of the 1,000 gem completion reward as apology gems. So we're all good, right?
But hasn't then always been
Yeah, no, no,
a
yeah. I
reward
just
for
kid.
completing hard
Yeah,
mode?
I was just
Pretty
kidding.
much.
To quote Mantaquia on Twitch, "Blah ha 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 ha." No,
There we
but
go.
yeah, it's just funny that we live in a pretty technologically advanced world, but still so very few people fully understand programming. I think.
Well, it's not that. It's just it doesn't make sense that oh we forgot to put in the reward. Oh, go messed up that random hard fight so nobody completes it. And this is not how the world works, people. Whoever thought of that, it's not how it works. That's not how the world turns. Anyway, let's move on. Um, what do we have here? So I think these were pretty much the only updates that we have. We got some community stream rewards this morning. These were 3 relics of all knowledge and 50 higher orbs, power, and guard. So yeah, make sure you log in and get those.
Not excited. Not excited
No,
about my relics of all knowledge. I expect power tokens, armor tokens, weapon tokens.
I was gonna say that too.
At least what, a tome of all knowledge, or what's the good one called? Because we got, did we get artifacts of all? No, we just got relics of all knowledge. At least give us artifacts of all knowledge, right? Anybody? Come on, Square. This ain't 2018. This isn't the first year of the game. You gotta ump your rewards.
JP gets several thousand gems every month. When are we gonna get that? I'm
wait,
not.
what?
I don't want to be the. I don't want to be the choosing beggar here, but I think it's past time. JP, every time they have a stream, they get thousands of gems, anywhere from like 2 to 3K gems a month. I thought we had caught up to the point where we should be getting that as well. I could really use those gems, guys.
All right, that's weird. Since when have they been getting that many gem?
See, I was asking around, nobody can pinpoint it, but they did say sometime after anniversary, every time they have a monthly stream, they get a couple thousand gems.
Nice.
So we're getting the short end of a stick there, but we have Beatrix for a
Yeah.
couple more months, so it's
Woohoo!
not all one-sided. All right, let's see. So let's move on to the Kain Lost chapter that dropped this weekend with the Awakening. So what is new with Kain, and he's irrelevant?
Mark, you want to cover that? Because I'm pretty sure I'd be biased. So you do the facts, and I'll do the impressions. So you
Yeah,
want to talk about
so-
Kain's Awakening, please?
I'd be happy to talk about Kain's
Is
Awakening.
someone salty here?
Oh, I'm so salty. This is going to be half the podcast. I have a lot of shout outs to so many people in Twitch right now, including Kriese, who egged me on. We'll get to it. Mark, do you want to cover Kain's Awakening?
Yes, Kain. Kain is a dragoon, and if you have black crystals, you can awaken him to level 60, and he gets a couple things at level 60. Of which I don't 100% remember what they all are. The big things are he gets basically an overflow on both of his. He gets an overflow on Gungnir extension, so that can exceed max brave up to 150%. It becomes 2-hit attack. Does a lot more damage, and jump becomes more powerful and extends Dragoon's Pride longer to like 8 turns, I think. So Kain does more damage. He gets a few buffs to himself. He doesn't do anything to the party. He's a very selfish DPS unit. He is completely ranged, correct? Or is he ranged in melee?
He's melee until I forget what move turns his brave into jump. Then he becomes pure ranged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just saw that in the Discord.
Oh yeah, you saw me post that?
I just saw it because I had a notification, and I always have to get those things out of my stupid screen, and I stumble upon that great image. So I can't wait to hear the story. So, but yeah, sorry, Mark. Go ahead.
Kain gets his EX. His EX does some damage and does launch. So there's
Which
that.
is part of the great, popular, and never-ending launch meta you guys talked about, right?
It is part of the launch meta, which is now dead. But it could come back. Could come back, maybe. Yeah. So I mean, I like Kain a lot. At least he's up there in some of my favorite characters. I like Final Fantasy IV a lot. I have my Kain fully limit broke from the last.
But how can you like Kain? He's a suck puppet. He's one of my favorite Final Fantasy IV character. He spends half of the game being a suck puppet, and the other half of the game complaining that he was a suck puppet. What's cool about him? Beside the armor and everything.
And I cannot argue with Pierre because that's pretty spot on. So I can't even defend my main character.
And Mark is trying to come up with something.
No, there is a complicated.
Yes, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark.
About Kain and Piesel and Rosa, right? There's a love triangle. There is a rivalry, a brotherhood. It is deep and beautiful.
Thank you, Mark.
And there is resentment that Kain would be literally the most powerful character in that entire world until the Moon Babies came down and started taking over, right?
Yeah,
so
and also I want to bring up.
He's a dragoon. He's like the dragoon. I mean, sorry, Ricard. Anyway, no, Ricard's from 5, right?
Two.
Okay, yeah. No,
but he was the last dragoon, so.
And he didn't jump. Kain invented the whole dragoon jumping thing.
Jumps.
So.
Jump.
Just one
sweet
second.
teal armor. Well,
his armor's awesome.
But
am I cool now? I mean, I just jumped twice.
Listen.
But Slight spoiler alert, because I remember we were talking about in Discord too. The funny thing, you brought up the whole Kain, Cecil, Rosa love triangle. In Rosa's event, Kain and Cecil get more screen time than Rosa in her own event. Look forward to that next month. That'll be pretty interesting.
Till S on Twitch just said, and that's great. And in the sequel, no one asked for, he gets to be a paladin dragoon. Now,
I agree, Thalassa, because even as a huge fan
Holy
of Kain,
Dragoon.
my favorite FF character, even I thought the whole Holy Dragoon thing was unnecessary. Nobody asked for that. Nobody wanted Kain to become a
oops,
paladin
sorry.
equivalent of a dragoon. That was stupid as hell.
All right, but so
Long story short, Kain does more damage awakened than he did unawakened.
Kane's
Yes.
like super relevant for a couple of weeks now, right?
I used him. I
Why are you doing this to me, Pierre? Why are you doing this to me?
Oh boy, because it's funny.
I used him in the event to beat the difficult lost chapter mission, so and got the full clear. So I was happy to have him on my team.
I used Kain with his EX for his LC chapter, and I got a lower score than using the meta team. So, the meta launch team. So, that was very disappointing.
Whatever.
All right, so let's cover the banner real quick. So in that banner for Kane, there's Shantoto, there's Ball Boy, and there's Kane. So let's see, Lyle. That's right. So Shantoto gets a are those new weapons for her? No, they're all
No,
old,
same
the
thing.
whole chunk. So let's not cover those then. I guess the only thing we need to cover is the Dragoon Lance, which yeah, does just a whole bunch of damage, I guess,
Yeah.
And launch.
and
Mark,
launch.
do you have the description on his EX ability? Fang and Claw?
5
That they
hit range, brave attack, and HP attack. Stolen bravery may exceed max bravery by up 120%, and inflicts knockback on target, which is launch.
Mhm.
So this is not
And
AoE, right?
no, 500% range damage is unique to Kain, though, but we'll talk about the whole range specialty later. I will always still argue Kain right now is the best range damage dealer we have. The question is, how necessary is a ranged DPS? Because not that many things are weak to ranged, right? Sadly. But he does get overflow on his EX. It's 500% potency. I did some shenanigans on stream. If you set it up, he can hit 999999 on it, with all the max brave buffs on synergy. That not that matter. But he he's the best range DPS. It's just sad that going forward, as we'll talk about in the Deuce EX event, it's just not relevant anymore. And the banner's still great though, right? Because you can still MLB Lael, who's kind of strong right now. You can MLB Shantoto, who's the best mage ever, and you got
true.
Kain, the best dragoon ever,
But
right? Like, it's just a win-win-win-win banner.
speaking of win-win-win, let's talk about your poor decision.
Oh my god.
And all. I didn't hear the story. Now I know that you guys had made some streams on Friday, and after that, what happened, Mino? What did Kriese make you do? What happened?
So it's in our video archives for this channel right now. If anyone
Kriese
wants
is
to go,
not my fault.
you can go to the video archive and see how Kriese tempted me. Right now, it's in the channel for another few days because I think video default is saved for 7 days. But I streamed pulling for Kain and running his LC, and I swear, initially the plan was 5 pulls, and I get out. But for some reason, we had 60 something viewers that day, and Kriese as my co-host, all screaming at me to keep pulling until I got Kain EX because they're like, you made this stream, you raved about Kain for weeks. Everyone wants to see you pull it. You have to pull it. And so after 15 pulls and 75k gems. I did not get Kain EX. I had to pity it. And I had 80k gems going in. And I was saving for something good. And now I have nothing. I have nothing except Kain EX that's completely useless going forward, because we'll talk about the future events coming up. But holy crap, is Kain EX useless. I can't even justify it. Takes so many turns to charge and recharge that the launch is just irrelevant on it. Let's just say peer pressure is a real thing, kids.
Yeah,
And-
I watched that stream, all of it. I didn't feel a lot of peer pressure. I think you may be putting the peer pressure on yourself.
No, read the chat.
I
Read the
did.
chat.
I watched and read the whole thing. I'm not. Anyway, hey, listen. Kane's your favorite character. You got the EX. I don't see why you have to worry about it. It's a win-win. So you spent 75,000 fake things, right? They're not real things. They don't
That's true.
exist.
That's fair, but Kane's
Right.
not good up till now in JP, which is like a 10-month lead, right?
But
So
you
I know
already
he's
knew
useless.
that going in. Why did
Yeah,
you do
we
it
knew
to
that.
begin with?
Peer pressure. I'm gonna blame Kriese. Kriese,
Blame
like the
Kriese.
people in chat or whatever, they're typing.
Oh, they're
keep
all
going,
against
keep
you.
going.
You're alone on this one.
But Kriese was screaming in my ear to pull, and and you know, I can only cross my fingers and hope that his 70 rework will make him godlike. But you know, things aren't looking good right now. We were talking in Discord. There's the summer. This summer is packed with good and necessary EXs. I think my 3 picks are Quistis, Lena, and Vayne are the EXs I'm saving, and they're back to back, month to month. And I had 80k, blew it all on Kain, who I can't even use for Deuce EX. I don't. And now I'm just dead in the water. I'm broke. This is the poorest I've ever been in gems.
You're fine. First of all, you don't need Kistis. You can bring friend Kistis. I'll get Kistis. You'll have Kistis. Quetz will have Quistis. Well, there'll be plenty of Quistises to go around, right?
Speaking of which, thank you for your assist. You have really good assists, and it helped me clear the Deuce EX, Mark.
You're welcome.
You always have really good artifacts. I'm always grateful.
You're welcome.
Wait, Mark chases artifact now?
Yeah, I've been chasing artifacts forever. That's why I don't have max cap gil like Mino has.
Oh, his artifacts are always really good. Please friend Mark. I've relied on him more than once for EX clears.
I'm not quite Quetz artifact good because he like gets double reds until the cows come home. But I generally have pretty good artifacts on my characters. Yeah.
Is that a thing? Is that a real expression? Till the cows come home?
Yeah, till the cows come home. Is that not a thing in Canada? Do you have cows in Canada?
They freeze
I think
over.
that's a Midwest thing. I've heard of that once in a while, but I'm pretty sure that's only on a Midwest rural area.
Well, I live and am from Midwest rural areas. So
Oh, what a surprise!
seems like a thing that I might say. Until the cows come home.
Well, there you know it. So you were saying?
Yeah,
Yeah,
see, Sam is backing me up in Twitch. The cows come home for dinner.
Okay, so
They go out to the pasture, and then you ring the cow bell, and then they come home.
Yeah, Star Shadow is saying in Canada we sit until the moose come home.
so final word on Kain is, look, he has overflow on his EX and Gungnir. It's okay. Best range DPS. Let's see how much that matters. I'm hoping to get some use out of him for Maria LC and Locke LC, both that are weak to ranged, and he does decent in. And I guess the final verdict is he's just a selfish DPS, like Mark said, and it's just sad that they didn't buff his potencies, right? Because his buffs didn't increase. He still gives himself a generic 30% attack and max brave, which is just complete garbage at this point, because Kate Sith can give better of both and other buffers.
I know this is left field, but can we all agree that potency is one of the ugliest word in the English language? It
Moist is one of the ugliest words in the English language.
touche. I'm echoing. I don't know which one of you guys is watching the stream while doing it, but it's
I am not.
I'm not. I have the stream muted. Also, Star Shadow says best range is Noctis. No, I disagree. I think Kain beats Noctis when it comes to pure range.
all right. So let's talk about them plant golems in Hill Wyvern, the level 100 battle.
Yeah, so Lael is synergy in this event. So bring Lael.
Ball boy.
Yeah, there
And-
was a lot of complaints about how this score was really high. And then someone pointed
Yeah.
out, I want to credit CSAM, but I'm probably wrong, that the score is high because two of the synergy characters are launchers. You have Lael and Kain with his EX now that launch. So
and
it's an
Down
yeah, go
Toto
ahead.
launches too, right?
Sure. Why not? Sure.
I
why
mean,
not?
you can
But yeah,
launch, sure.
I don't. Mine is fully awakened and fully limit broke, but I've never used her, so I don't really know.
it's wait, you're fully awakened? You're a bigger Shantoto fan than I am then.
No,
But-
I guess mine is not fully awakened. I think she is max limit broke though.
Oh, okay. And this fight has been pretty easy, but getting the score was a tougher thing. And I think that's
Yeah.
because the game expects you to launch with Lael and Kain. And speaking of the golem, he was almost as hard as the wyvern, I thought, because it ate.
Well, yeah, I think harder than the wyvern because you only fight one wyvern,
Yeah,
and it dies pretty quick.
yeah, the golem eats a ton of turns, and then the
Yeah.
wyvern isn't nearly as tanky, so it was pretty deceptive. Yeah.
I brought Selfie, Lael, Kain, Friend Lael, Pandemonium.
And you went to town
That's what I did.
with the cows.
But if you need help, you can always check out Macnol's guide, and he puts up the full video guides for each events, and I believe in for the LCs as well, right? So the call to arms and then the video guide, yes. Global video guides. Just search Macnol, Macnol, on Reddit, and you'll see a compilation that he works on very well. And we thank him for that, of all of those video wins. So anybody who records, and if you record your playthrough for any of these events, you put it in the call to arms, and then he will put it in the database, and you can just access it there. And you say tons of different clears. So
In
tons of different
Macnol, we trust.
Yeah, seriously, man, Cole,
It's awesome.
You're doing God's work, and we'll bring you.
Wait.
I'll bring
We
you-
have a reverend on the stream. You can't go like that and say that someone is doing God's work.
You're right, Pierre. Sorry.
No, I think
Thank
that's
you,
fair.
man, Cole. You're doing our
I think it's fair.
Jesus' work.
Ah, there you go.
And,
That's better.
There you go. And I want to bring you up once again for when we get to the Deuce EX conversation, because that's been really helpful.
All right, and don't forget that as with any Lost Chapter, there's a World of Illusion event at the same time. It's free gems, it's easy gems, and it's artifact for your Kain, Lyle, and Shantutu. So it's easy to overlook these things. So don't forget to go in there and grind a little bit. Yeah, doing materials work. That's better. Let's use the right gods in this thing.
There you go. Very nice.
Moving on to what the Deuce. That's gonna. I don't care what's the name of this stupid event. That's gonna be the title of the show, and that's what
Drop a Deuce. Right?
Deal.
What the
Deal.
Deuce. So introducing a new character, number two, Deuce. Oh, actually no, it's not. Isn't it 12? Deuce.
she's-
Okay, it's Deuce.
no, Deuce.
Deuce. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of in between. So what's so special about number 2, except that it's poop? I just
Go ahead, Mark.
Oh my god. Okay, hey, what's so special about Deuce? We're gonna about drop a Deuce right here. Anyway, Deuce is a offensive
I'm sorry.
support character, as you might anticipate. She is a magic support character, so she is similar to all of the other support characters that we've that we've had. Selfie, Kate Sith, Aerith. Who else are we missing? Who would be big ones?
Ash,
Kate Sith's pretty big.
Rem.
Yeah, Rem. That's who I was trying to think of. And if you missed Kate Sith or you missed Selfie and you're looking for a good support option, Deuce is a really good support option. She has two main abilities, Concerto and Dissonant Sonata. Concerto raises party brave and gives everyone the note unique buff, which is only a 10% bonus to attack. And the problem with note is if you are broken, you lose that buff. So that's going to be one of her issues. So Concerto is a support ability that batteries. Dissonant Sonata is a battery damage that does extra damage if there are more notes active. So again, now she's relating, or she's she does more damage if every single character has the note support ability or note buff on. Unfortunately, the problem is that means none of your characters can get broken if you want her to do max damage. The nice thing about her is she has 3 passives, which are party buffs. So she obviously gives the party buffs, and she has an HP attack, which also batteries, which is really nice. But she has the what's it called? Earnest Achiever, which you can artifact up, which raises int brave and attack. Then you also have all buffed initial speed, which raises int brave and speed, and all buffed attack boost, which raises max brave and attack. So she has a lot of passive party buffs, but they are all dependent on the note ability, or they're dependent on some other buff. So she's a pretty cool character, right? And a pretty good support character. But unfortunately, she's not the end of everything in the world. Did I say the ability wrong?
I don't know, but while you check the Discord message, I mean the Twitch messages, because Kriese is saying that some of that stuff might be tied to a rework instead of her X.
I'm reading your article, Kriese.
But so those are the facts. The impressions are that I feel like Deuce is sort of like an opposite Kate Sith, because her AoE is magic damage but focuses on one target, instead of Kate Sith's that's melee and splits the damage. And she also gives the unique buffs, and like you said, the break thing is a problem, but she buffs magic attack party wide, which is a big deal, because a lot of the strongest DPS are
magic attack.
Yeah, a lot of the strongest DPS coming up are all magic damage. You've got Kuja, you've got Golbez, who's half magic, you've got Renoa. So I remember in JP, there's a transition between launch meta and the Kuja era where Deuce replaces Lael, because the bosses start getting so much HP, as we'll see in Deuce EX, that launching just doesn't cut it anymore. And Deuce replaces Lael in the whole selfie Kate Lael composition when DPS starts being a bigger deal, right? Because Deuce can actually brave shave much better than Lael can. And it's a short period until Kuja comes. Luckily, we have the power of foresight to know that it's only going to last about a month or so, that Deuce comes in and recovers. But she's very helpful if you're going to start building Kuja for the future EXs or any magic composition. Ash, she enables a lot of characters. Her brave battery is reliant on HP damage done. There's a lot of use for her. It's just, as Mark said, her biggest weakness is that a single break will remove her buff. And as EXs get more difficult, it's become easier for the enemy to achieve. She starts losing value slowly. But I think she's a very strong character for the next few months, at least.
As Kriese is saying on Twitch, which is good because we're referring to his evaluation, Deuce, the musical student analysis discussion on Reddit by Xerink, Xerink on Reddit. You always look for Kriese's evaluations. That she does not have an EX right now. So, again, you're looking for a good, solid support character who you can weapon token or who you hopefully can maybe get a little easier than a character who you need an EX for. So yeah, Kriese's pretty good. Has some flaws which will get taken care of when she gets maybe a rework or a level 70 awakening. I believe the note going away when she gets broken, that's taken care of. She does get an EX in Japan, which is pretty cool, I believe. So yeah. Again, I think if you have Selfie and Kate Sith and Rem, maybe some other support characters, you probably don't need her right now. But if you miss some of those, it's a nice other option to have. Or if you just want all the support characters, it's a not nice character.
Bottom
Yeah,
line,
yeah, go ahead.
blame Xerink for misinformation.
All right. Um, other than that, I know on the banner there's ACX and Arit. Anything worth a mention in there?
Yeah, ACX is awesome.
Is it?
Yeah,
Even if the launch meta is dead?
what Ace doesn't launch.
Oh, right. I had it. Yeah, Lyle.
Yeah.
So what's so special with ACX?
So Ace is Ace does has had his awakening here for a while, and he's pretty good with his awakening too. So you especially when he's buffed, he's really good. But his EX ability is Jackpot Shot. It is a 6-hit magic brave plus HP attack. Can exceed brave, max brave up to 150%. Deals 50% damage to non-targets. Fills card stock, right? But the nice thing or the fun thing about his ability is it grants you a random card that is a unique buff. It can do a red card, a black card, a blue card, or a yellow card, and gives you those cards for 5 turns. And each card does something different, which I'm not going to be able to see off the top of my head. I think I kind of know them though. The blue card is the worst, and that's like HP, stupid stuff. There, one of the cards
That's
is
the
basically
scientific term, HP stupid stuff.
it's HP and Brave regen, basically. So it gives the entire party HP Brave regen. The yellow card is 8 attack and max Brave up for the party. I believe the black card is speed down for your enemy. Someone on Twitch want to tell me what the red card is? I don't remember what the red card is. So, but each card is different. The problem is they are random, so it's not particularly. It's hard to guarantee what it does. But in Japan, for quite some time, red is attack. Red is attack up to 40%. Thank you. So what's the one that I missed?
I think you got them all, right?
Okay. Maybe. Anyway, each card does a different thing. Yellow is 20. Okay, yeah. Yellow's 20% attack and 20% max brave. Red is just 40% attack. Thank you. Aminosa and Zero Lancer, thank you for your help. And Final Character 7 on Twitch for
So it's
helping me out
kind of really hard to get any planning or strategy in there if the card
Yeah,
is random.
yeah, but hopefully it's a fairly it's not super fast. It's a slow plus or normal maybe with
Yeah.
a slow break. Um,
Someone said on Discord that it's because Ace in his game was based on the gambler class, just like
Yeah.
Waka. So a lot of it is RNG what you get. And I mean, I guess they kind of justify it with it because Waka sucks because it's 90%, so there's a 10% chance you're not going to get anything. But Ace, you're always going to get something. It's just random what you get, right? But it's always beneficial, so that's kind of okay. I mean, I know either Mancol or Systems on Discord said that like they don't like RNG period in this game, which is fair. But at least it's always beneficial, right?
Yeah, and he's doing right now, he's doing a ton of damage, and he'll continue to do once he gets his rework and awakening. He's going to do even more damage. So, my hope was to pull some of these things basically for the future. I think both Deuce and Ace are characters that you could use right now. I'm not sure in the next 3-4 months that you're going to see a lot of use, but down the road, you're going to be able to use them again, and they're both going to be very powerful. So if you want to try to pick them up right now, fine. If you want to wait till better banners, that's fun to say, better banner. They're gonna come back strong too. And if you're a huge Type 0 fan, then great, go ahead.
Sissa makes a good point. He says Setzer is the quintessential gambler character, yet he has no RNG in his kit.
Yep.
That's very true. Yet Waka and Ace, who are gamblers way down the line, have a lot of RNG in theirs.
How is Waka a gambler at all?
The reels,
the slot the slots for his limit breaks,
Yeah,
like they were all
breaks.
chance
All
based.
right, but besides that, in the game, there's never any mention of him.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But
he bets on the Bleats ball.
Does he?
No,
Oh,
he
yeah.
doesn't. No. Mark's making that up.
Waka is the Pete Rose of Bleats ball.
But like Setzer
Known fact.
from FF6 invented the slot machine gimmick.
No, I know Setzer.
Yeah, and so Kate Sith and Waka and Selfie, they all took that gimmick from him as the gambler class. Like it was a whole class of gambling and dice and everything. Like they all did that stuff.
All right. Let's talk about the co-op battle and with the tin cans.
Mark? Oh yes, the co-op. Co-op is super easy.
After 100 tries?
Yeah, no, I have cleared. Half an hour. I cleared everything. I got plenty of tokens. My shop is empty. Super easy. I brought my ace with no 15 CP and a 0 limit broke level 20 35 CP weapon, and he just tears it up. And Lord, if there's a Deuce on there, it's over.
Same. It's a super easy co-op. I only have I have a 15 CP only ace, and he's been cleaning up by maxing his brave with a no passive second ability. Easy.
There's someone, Kriese says, do not bring melee attackers in co-op, and then other people say, well, I've seen some. So what's your take on that, guys? Melee or no melee?
Yeah, don't bring melee because the bosses counter melee attacks. That's the trick of this, and we'll talk about the EX fight.
Harriet's saw Squall. Well, yeah, duh.
Yeah, the bosses resist melee, and they counterattack melee. So if you're not bringing one of the buff characters, if you're not bringing Aerith, Deuce, or Ace, bring Beatrix or Selfie or Papa or Van or Shantoto. I mean, like just bring a magic character, Terra. Like, who cares? Like, there's 1,000 options in this event you could bring for co-op. But yeah, do not bring Squall or Lightning or Kate Sith or Oren.
I don't know. Kriese on Oren in co-op says he was useless. So, yeah.
Yeah. Garnet would be a good one too. Yeah. Thank you.
So I got my wires crossed. Co-op was easy, but let's talk about the EX battle.
Also easy, super easy. I already beat it. So.
I hate this fight forever.
Okay. Says Mino falling off his chair.
Yeah, Mino brought Kain, Kate Sith, and Oren. Or Irvine. Irvine, Waka, Kain. Domination. Range domination.
But wasn't this... what was the fight that took you guys like 100 resets?
Yes. Yeah, no, this is Gentle Strength EX, level 100. You fight... the first 4 waves, or who cares? So, after the first 20 turns of beating stupid things, you fight 2 count steams. And if you don't know what count steam is, he's a saucy steampunk top hat wearing Kraken who is resistant to melee damage, resistant to holy, and counters and debuffs every time you do a melee attack against them. So don't do that. And there's 2 of them, and they're super duper fast. They have AoE, AoE plus HP attacks. They continuously buff themselves, but they buff themselves with non-visible buffs.
Oh, that sucks.
So you can't debuff them. You can't dispel them. Yeah, they have this thing called Steam is building, raises speed, attack, and buff. If you kill one of them, the other one rages. So you have to kill them kind of simultaneously.
Yep.
They are, yeah, and if you kill one of them, the other one gets elude, which is a pain in the butt. Yeah, and becomes more powerful. But yeah, they have some really powerful attacks, including some, because they'll break you and get speed bonuses and then kill you. I have been total party killed twice in this event.
Wow.
So yeah, that usually doesn't happen to me. And I got hit twice where I was total party killed. Yeah.
There is a lot to talk about this event because, Manco put up his post, his call to arms for all these different comps. And I know it's only been little more than 24 hours, but people are really unhappy with this event because a lot of people. Yeah,
it has
go ahead.
not yet. It has not yet been 24 hours.
Oh no. Okay. Well, almost 24 hours. People are pretty unhappy with this event. So the thing is that in JP, this was known as a notoriously hard X, the hardest X fight that graced JP, because they didn't get our early hell of Lena and Sephiroth and Sid EX, because we got those early EXs that were just tuned and not tested. But this was a particularly bad one. So I thought GL would have had the foresight to at least lower the score a bit or do something, nerf it a little bit, because that's what they've always done for us. But the complaints are that there's a very small pool of viable characters here. It definitely favors the synergy. But according to Mancol's post, though, people are finding ways around it.
Yeah.
Mark and I have beaten it, but we both admitted to doing a lot of resets. A lot of resets to get the perfect RNG, which is what we'll talk about. But my first attempt I actually cleared it no problem with Beatrix, Setzer, and Selfie. Cleared it no problem, no deaths, no threat of deaths, but I didn't hit the score. I got like 130k, and the high score requirement was 160. Tried again with Beatrix, Garnet, and Setzer. Got 150, got really close. And then I thought I was clever and did Selfie, Setzer, and Beatrix with a Lael friend and a Pandemonium summon. But apparently that's a very common strategy that I've seen a lot. Because I think Mark and I were unlucky, right? We didn't pull the synergy at all. I didn't pull any. Yeah, go ahead.
No, that's correct. I have Deuce 15 CP, fully limit broke. I have one of each of Ace's weapons, and I have Eris stuff, but no EX and no Deuce 35.
I had no Deuce 35. I had no Ace 35. If I had an Ace 35, I'd use it as well. But I had none of their 35s, so I was really struggling with this. Like I said, I came up with that final team that finally got the score, and I thought I was special. Then I saw online that everyone used that team too. So I guess not so special, but holy crap, like was it a fight? Like even people who used Ace EX and Deuce were struggling with this one, I think. Yeah.
So what was your final team that you used?
Beatrix, Selfie, Lael. No, Beatrix, Selfie, Setzer with a Lael friend.
Okay.
And a Pandemonium summon. I think you did it slightly different, right?
I did do it slightly different because I was trying to use my main team of Selfie, Garnet, and Beatrix with some different supports and couldn't get it worked out. So I did Selfie, Setzer, Beatrix with an Ace friend support, and
Yes.
Bahamut. And yeah, Ace can do crazy damage.
Yes. Monta was saying that. I don't know if you got the tip from him, but I remember
Yeah.
I was talking about my run this morning, and because I was using a Lail support, and Monta tried a Lail support, he couldn't do it. He tried an Ace support, it got him the win, and he was preaching the Ace support. And
Now,
yeah.
now the problem with Ace support is his EX ability gives you a random card.
Right. So RNG in the end, after all.
Yeah. So if he gives you the blue card, which is HP and Brave Regen, you can do it, but you might as well just restart. The speed down, depending on when you do it, the speed down can be really helpful, but he's only there for 5 turns. If you have an Ace EX, that speed down's got to be super helpful, right? Now, I've
Right.
not seen. Yeah, I mean that's got to be super helpful.
Yeah. Apparently, it practically doubles your turns, is what
Yeah,
I've heard.
if you have Ace EX and you friend Ace EX and you pair their cards and have 2 different cards, that should be not a problem. But with any of the other cards, and I don't think I ever got the red card, which is the 40% attack buff.
Yeah.
If you got that, man,
Mhm.
especially in the Bahamut summon, he's doing crazy damage. Clim Hazard is doing insane damage. I think I was doing up towards 60, 70,000 with Clim Hazard
That's insane.
during the
Yeah.
summon. So, yeah. So, yeah, I was able to get 59 turns, 187,000 is my high score with Beatrix, Setzer, Selfie, and friend Ace, Bahamut summon.
Right.
But I have seen a lot of, Macnol posted a Warrior of Light clear. I think it was a chair that said Rem, Deuce, and Celeste
But
clear.
wait a sec. I thought that monster was anti-melee or something. Isn't Wire of Light pretty much melee?
The shield throw is ranged. So
Yeah,
that's something.
shield throw is ranged, and shield is not.
All right.
Yeah, that's the only problem with Selfie that I was having an issue with Selfie, and this is why Deuce is better than Selfie in this event. Selfie's brave attack is melee.
Yeah.
So you can't use Selfie's brave attack. And so if you don't want to use wall and you don't want to use drain, you basically just have to HP attack. Because it would have been so nice to be able to brave attack and not be countered, because there were times that she was going to get broke that I just needed her to have some you needed her to have some brave, and drain does not give her a lot of brave because that wastes her brave
Yeah.
and gives your party brave, and you only have so many uses of wall and you don't want to waste all your uses of wall. So yeah, so I mean, I use Selfie, and with her buffs she's great, but she's not the ideal character. If you have other options, I think Rem probably better if you have Rem's EX. Deuce Deuce is better if you have Deuce and her weapons there, but I don't have either of those. I don't think I haven't seen any Aerith clears, so
Oh,
sorry.
I have seen Aerith Claire's actually.
Have
So
you?
yeah. So but to set the stage, Lena EX is still the most prohibitive EX, I think, but only GL got that. For JP, Deuce EX was the worst EX when it came to number of characters that could clear. Luckily, Mantaquia has a post now to show us all these different clears, and people have Warrior of Light clears and Aerith clears, so the clear pool is more substantial than I first thought. And thank God Mantaquia's doing this so everyone can see it. But if
Macnol.
you go, yeah, Mantaquia. Yeah, when you go on Reddit, he has those posts to say, for everyone to post their clears, and so there are a bigger number of characters that can clear compared to Lena EX, but this was the worst EX in JP in the EX era. And Agrius EX, which is coming up next, supposedly, is the second worst, and then Rosa EX is supposed to be the third worst, and after that it's clear sailing, because then Kuja comes with the power creep, and everything's easy until Cosmos. That's why they had to introduce Cosmos, because everything was too easy. So we're in JP's equivalent of the Hell Month. I don't think it'll be as bad as GL's Hell Month, but this is a clear case of if you have Ace EX, if you have Deuce, if you have Realm, if you have Rem EX, this EX shouldn't be as difficult because they really, really obliterate it. But even then, without it, so many clears have said that they've had to reset so much for the RNG because near the end of the fight, Kraken start getting back-to-back turns, right? And if they do have the wrong combination, they can just wipe your run.
Yeah, right.
There. Yeah, and I don't know about you, Mark, but when I cleared it, I didn't even feel feeling of satisfaction. I was just like, it's finally over. A happy feeling.
Pain is
this
done.
was
Yeah, I saw.
This is. I've stopped bleeding. Like the bleeding is stopped.
I saw someone on Twitch. I'm trying to scroll up to find it, saying there it is. It was Tilasa. I paid 200 gems just to be done with it.
Yeah. No. That's not even the worst. On the main Reddit Discord, I've seen someone pay 500 gems to get a 0 score on the event. And that's ridiculous. But
I'm not really sure what that does for you.
Yeah, what's the point? I mean, it's
just
not
don't
even
clear, I
bragging
guess,
rights. It's
right?
just failure.
Right. Yeah, I mean, what do you get with the clear? I mean, just don't do it. Like, right? I mean,
so I'm saying, like, this was infamous in JP as being the most bullshit EX of the run. Actually, Gilgamesh was considered more bullshit, but in Global, they nuked the score, remember? Because for Gilgamesh in Global, the score was 120k, and in Japan, it was 180k. And Global said the excuse is because JP had Kate Sith at the time, we didn't. Why they lowered the score so much. Looks like they don't care about lowering the score anymore, and they should know that these couple of events, Deuce, Agrius, and Rosa, that were super complained about in JP, it feels like they should know that these are troublesome events that should have been nerfed. It doesn't look like they're gonna go that way, guys, so be prepared. And it's just that everyone that's completed it says it's finally over. I don't think anyone really enjoyed this EX. There's a lot of RNG to it. And
well, I enjoyed the half an hour after I beat the EX, destroying the stupid Krakens in co-op. That made co-op so much more fun after an hour of resetting that stupid EX battle. That made co-op super fun. I'm like, I'm just gonna murder these Krakens. Stupid
over and over and over again.
Fancy steampunk metal pieces of crap. Yeah.
Right. So I'm saying, strap in for a pseudo hell month. It's coming. Agrius is not supposed to be better because those bosses have an ability that reduces physical damage to 1.
Yes.
So yeah. So get ready for that. And launch doesn't work on them either because they have so much HP. So get ready for that. If you don't believe me, go to YouTube, Google DFFOO Agrius EX. You'll see that nobody tries launch meta, and all the clears have Agrius with EX in them. So we're gonna have fun next month.
I thought you just said that Agrius EX was garbage.
Sorry, what was that?
I thought you just said that Agrius EX was one of the worst.
Yeah, the EX fight.
Oh, okay, sorry.
And it requires Agrius with the EX weapon. Sorry, you're right. I wasn't too clear with that. But yeah, I mean, so this is a good segue into our next thing because I was reading in our Discord, our regulars Kriese and Manta and Aeroli in our event help channel. Kriese brought up saying that RNG to clear an event, which many seem to need for Deuce EX, it's not a well-designed fight. And he says we're starting to fall into the JP pattern too soon of once a character is released, they're immediately useless. Because we just got Zell EX, we just got Kain EX, and you can't use them on this fight or the next fight because they both resist physical. And it's starting the pattern of you pull a character for an event useless after, so it's forcing you to pull every event to clear. And right now that's the biggest complaint of chaos difficulty in Japan, because that's the pattern they've been following, where a character's only good for their event, immediately useless for the 2-3 events after. There's a lot of RNG elements to the fight. I mean, what do you think about that, Mark?
Yeah, no, I go back and forth. I mean, on one hand, in dozens of different ways people have beaten this. Obviously, if you have the synergy characters, it's a lot easier. But you and I beat it without the synergy characters, so have many other people. On the other hand, it took a lot of resetting, and I would prefer to have battles that dealt with more strategy and
Yeah.
less randomness. I mean, I would prefer well-developed battles where you have to think about how you're acting, and it's not just based on whichever random. I mean, there's always going to be some RNG, who's targeting who, and that kind of stuff. But there seems to be a lot of RNG in this particular battle, which probably could have been toned down enough, or they could have given some more options so that you could have dealt with. There's no way to deal with their speed,
Right.
unless you have aces.
They're immune to a
RNG
couple of
card.
debuffs, right? They're immune to speed down and something else. Attack down, is it?
Yeah, they are immune to speed down and defense down, and you cannot dispel their speed
Yeah, it's
buff,
ridiculous.
unless you have Ace's random card, the blue card, or
Yeah.
not the blue card, the yellow, well, not yellow, black. That's
Yeah,
the one.
it's super reliant on the synergy characters, Ace and Deuce. If you
But
don't
even-
have them,
But
you're
even
fucked.
then, that's a 1 in 4 chance that as soon as
Yeah.
Ace's EX hits, it's
Yeah.
going to be the black card.
Yeah.
So you're resetting how many times before you get that black card.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point. It's that you and I, neither of us use synergy characters, so we reset it a lot. If anyone in the audience can say, does having Ace EX and Deuce remove the RNG part of the fight? Like, if you have Deuce and Ace EX, can you consistently complete the content, or can the Krakens get consecutive turns and just wipe you like that? I really want to know if anyone in the audience can speak up for that.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see if it took too many with a full synergy with that, if it took resets and extra times. But I know there's people on our Discord, and if you are interested in joining our personal Discord, I will share that link. I will share that link in Twitch. And please join us. There's always fun times had.
All Scrim 94 says, no, I saw someone try like 20 times with ACX and Deuce.
Yeah.
So even with the perfect party, it seems like it's still pretty RNG. Dependent.
And again, I mean, if there's some mechanics like if you break them, they're not going to do damage, or if you lose, I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, if there was a mechanic that said if your character has no brave, they can't steal brave, and so they won't do HP damage.
Right.
That's something you can do with. Or if there's if they break them, then they can't generate brave, or they lose speed, or I mean something, right? I mean, if there's some kind of strategy, but this is kind of, there's some strategy, but there's also really hope that the aim is right at the right time, or else you're going to get screwed.
So just to wrap this up, and we might have gone backward just a bit, but are we pretty much telling our audience to avoid this EX battle altogether?
Oh, I was seeing that too, Pierre. The last thing I have to say about this is Shara put it very eloquently on Twitch, and I know a lot of other people have said this, but Shara said, this month or that month or so where every single EX was utterly brutal, unless you had the synergy characters or one of the absolutely most recent characters of the meta, was just ridiculous and crazy demoralizing. A lot of people thought about quitting or quit in global when we had that month of Lena EX, Sephiroth EX, and Sid EX. This month, we're going to hit the same thing with JP. There's going to be Deuce EX, Agrius EX, and Rosa EX. They're just brutal and demoralizing unless you pull. And it's just it's just, I think Square Enix needs, at least the global side, needs to acknowledge that this was not a good design, and all the people hated it when it hit JP at the time. They need to change it for global, because if your content's this restrictive and demanding, then people aren't going to want to play the game, right? Because it's just they just see it as a greedy cash grab that forces them to pull.
Yeah. Yeah, Kriese says if Agree CX is the same wall, that we will, it's going to be a bigger issue. If you have 2 or 3 events in a row like this, it's going to be problematic.
But don't we already know that it's exactly how it's going to be until Kuja?
Well, it depends. It depends on if they tweak it, if they change it.
Well,
yeah, GL has proven they're capable of changing things, right? Like they have to know that JP got. I feel like we got a lot of quality of lives early because JP. It was known to be bad in JP. Like look how early we got the pity system, a year early, pretty much. And it's just that if they knew that JP players hated this period of time, they need to ease it for the global players, right? Otherwise, they're gonna get. They know that people are gonna hate it.
all right. Let's move on to, at this point, especially with what we've just discussed, does pull strategy really matter anymore?
Well, what I wanted to talk about, and someone's mentioned, I think Zyros is mentioning it on Twitch. The top score is just 500 gems, right? And being the EX is 900 gems. I think we determined, and a few tickets. So, is it really worth it? First of all, to go this crazy. I mean, I spent a couple hours on it to beat this battle, and that's fine. That's something I like to do, but. Is it really worth it? And, do you have to make yourself crazy about what you're going to pull on or what you're not going to pull on, or regret pulling on something that you wanted to pull on when all you're talking about is losing, a few hundred gems?
Truth be told, I've never felt that the EX rewards were worth my time. So that's why I've almost never done any EX. It doesn't feel like an achievement. I know that the victory should be its own reward, but I don't know. It just never did it for me.
Yeah, I want to, first of all, I think you're admirable in that, Pierre, because there's so many people who get anxiety or uneasiness if they can't clear the content. And to address the thing in chat right now, so Your Highness says, so what about Cosmos and Chaos come out? Make everything easy enough for everyone to clear? And there's a lot of people debating him right
I hope
now.
not.
Yeah, Kriese says not complete, but at least it should be clearable, which Kriese makes a good point on. And to cover that is just that you that you shouldn't need to get the complete. No one's asking that, but the 900 gems, as Monta has said before, is 20% of the rewards for an EX clear, which is pretty significant, right? And when JP came out with Cosmos, the only reward you got from clearing Cosmos was 3 to 5 tickets. That's it. And I feel like that's reasonable, right? Like a super insanely hard challenge should be a bragging right. I don't know how it is in FFRK, but I had a feeling it was the same thing, right? Like in JP, when you cleared Cosmos, all you got was 3 to 5 tickets. That's all you got. Not 900 gems that's locked behind EX. Like, if you have an optional super hard content, you should reward a token reward, because otherwise it's a rich get richer model where it's like, oh yeah, I whaled, I have all the best weapons, I clear, I can get more gems. Whereas F2P, I mean, like free to play, can't clear the content, so they get less gems. It shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't lock significant rewards behind super difficult content. Super difficult content, like in FFRK, Magicite Trials, should be bragging rights. It shouldn't be, I need this to continue being relevant.
I think you make a good point.
Right. So like I'm saying, people like Your Highness on Twitch right now, you shouldn't say that people don't deserve more polls and more gems for not being able to complete the hardest content. Like everyone should be able to complete base content. The rich get richer scheme is the worst concept of I paid so much, I can do the hardest content, I get more. Like that's the wrong way to run a free to play game. I don't think.
Macnol says on Twitch, look how many people cut their teeth with the bugged quest for no rewards at all.
Yeah, that was
I
totally
did.
optional and
I
totally
did.
fun, is what Mancole said. Mancole says
Yeah.
that, like, if you put out optional challenges, the hardcore will tackle that. You can do that by pleasing the hardcore and not alienating your player base. You don't have to lock super like necessities behind it. Like that's the biggest complaint behind JP and Chaos right now, is that JP players are lamenting that they need Chaos difficulty to get the weapons to make EX plus weapons to keep doing that content, and it's suffering. Like it's rich get richer. You don't need to do that. I don't know.
But and just going from there to just pull strategy, there's always going to be another character, right? I mean, there's always going to be a better character. There's always going to be, I mean, what's the longevity? We were just talking about this before show. So launch meta, launch meta, launch meta, launch meta. How long did launch meta last?
Did it last us? When did Lael awaken? Because it's over
So
already.
so Lael awakened on February 28th.
And right now on March 21st,
So
Deuce.
LC, Fang event, Arc 2 Chapter 1, Kain LC, and now we can't use them. So
Right,
so
now
3
on
weeks.
now on Deuce EX, because we
3
already
weeks.
talked about how GL nerfed launch meta by delaying Kate Sith and Lael. Right now on Deuce EX, launch meta is no longer the go-to solution. Their HP pool has increased so much that people are getting better scores with either a Setzer or a Ace support rather than Lael. Very few people are running Lael mains anymore because the launch isn't making up for the pure DPS. We're transitioning into the DPS era where like pure DPS, like Kuja is going to be, outweighs the bonus that launch gives you. So launch meta for GL lasted very short, a month if not less. And they did that deliberately. We all talked about it, and it's like, how much can you invest into a single concept to get stuff? It's just it's not there anymore.
Somebody CSAM is saying launch meta worked on Deuce. Well, yeah, friend launch but not the same way that it's been working. You bring 2 Laels and Deuce and Selfie. I mean, yeah, I mean it's going to help, but you're not going to walk through the event. That's the issue.
Harky here on Twitch says launching does work for burst and summon, but you can't rely on it anymore like you could the past quests, right? Like, yeah, it's not as even with Fang EX. You had to really think about your launches, right? You couldn't just, it was no longer a no-brainer. And Kriese says here is the problem was we're in a phase where characters are situationally useful now, where they're useful for the event they launch on, but not for a month later. Like Deuce is good for this event, and Ace EX is as well. Are they going to be useful for the upcoming 2 or 3 events? Who knows? Probably not.
Right. Probably
honestly.
not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So he's saying like we're entering an era where Square Enix got really greedy, and you had to pull to stay relevant for a little while.
I think the list sums it up well. With it's another one of those times where it feels pointless to pull for anyone. What's the point when they're going to be benched in a week?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect.
That's why I have more gems than I've ever had in the entire time I played this game. So yeah.
Yeah, tell that to Mino.
Yeah. and the last thing I want to say is that like they make a good point where you want to feel like your investments at least pay off, right? Because if you feel like every week you're forced to pull, you're not going to be invested in the game because you're pulling for temporary successes. Like, I feel like we get 10 months of foresight from JP, so GL should at least fix these problems, right? Like, they shouldn't give us the same problems JP had.
But
They should go ahead.
don't they run in the risk of if they modify the game like at all or too much, then it would potentially alienate their GP players, that would come out with the pitch and fork saying, well, are we like your guinea pigs and you make the game better for global and da 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 da
That's
da and
that's
so on and so
100%
forth.
true. Yeah, no, that's true. That's
I
good.
mean, you make a great point, Pierre, but I feel like if one group suffers, it should at least help
No,
the other group.
I'm
Both groups
torn.
suffer,
I'm
right?
absolutely torn
Yeah.
between the two. In one way, it does not make sense to take something you know is broken and pass it on to your other player base because the first one had to suffer through it.
You're right.
But then, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
Just because I had to do it that way doesn't mean that that's the best way for my kids to do it, right?
Yeah,
I mean
that's
that's
I
a
was gonna say
terrible
that part.
that's a terrible mentality that sometimes we get into. Well, I had to go through this, so you have to go through this. Well,
Yeah.
uh,
You want it better for
that
the future
yeah,
generation. You want it better for the
if
future
that
generation.
if that didn't work, like not like because
Didn't the
it was
baby
hard or you had to wait.
boomers destroy everything for the future generations?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that you
Okay,
know,
let's not get into
that's
but basically, the thing
under-
is, if like Mark said, if they like Global already proved that they wanted to change things, right? By mixing up release orders, they mixed up who
Which they
releases on
stopped
banners.
doing, and if I'm not wrong, they said they wouldn't do anymore.
right.
Well, they said they wouldn't do anymore, but they replaced Shadow on the Rem EX banner with like Irvine. They're giving us some stuff. I feel like in the beginning, I feel like GL was trying to fix the mistakes that JP made. We get earlier pity system, we get earlier EXs, we get earlier awakenings to make the game smoother. But if right now they're just going to abandon all that and give us the same difficulties JP did, then what was the point? Then we're just all suffering together and no one's happy.
So screw the Japanese. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
All right. Let's move on to something more lighthearted. We talked last week about the fact that Dissidia was introducing more and more alternate Final Fantasy characters. In case you were not listening or you forgot what it is or never knew, it's for example the fact that there's a Paladin Sissel that's in the Japanese game. We're going to get him at some point, and he's not a skin. It's not a costume. It's a whole different character that got added to the game. And the gimmick is that when P. Cecil is in your party, you can't have Dark Knight Cecil in your party. It's one and the same human being. They pulled the same thing with the cheap story hack thing with Ida, who's not really Ida and was never really Ida all that time, but was pretending to be Ida anyway. Um, and I think they have other characters coming that way. So Mark did a Reddit post and asked, "What is the most ridiculous alternate Final Fantasy character idea for the FFOO?" And Mark, I'll let you sum up the answers that you got.
Yeah, so right now in Japan, Arc 2 Chapter 2 is Paladin Cecil. And then this month in Japan, Arc 2 Chapter 6 is Lise, who is the alternate of Yida. But yeah, so we asked on Discord and on Reddit. So the number one is from Murray38, cross-dressing Cloud. Not as a costume, as a completely alternate character. So someone, this is Hans Panet, says cross-dress Cloud can use Seductive Kiss, which can paralyze the target for one turn while draining its brave. 35 CP weapon, perfume, makes ability AoE and grants max brave up to self. EX could be Lipstick, which grants 5 random debuffs to all enemies for 3 turns. Attack down, defense down, speed down, int brave down, max brave down, blind paralysis, or poison. So I like that. Good thinking. Vanilla Dream says Adult Hope. And is being serious. Adult Hope, new character with a new move set. Now there was a lot. Now this is I'll share this funny one, and then I'll say one that came up a lot. So the funny one is from Hardly Normal. Gerard, which was Edgar's disguise in Final Fantasy VI, as a whole new character,
that's a really
completely different,
that's a
completely character. But one that came up over and over and over again, and I had to look it up, was Gunbreaker Thancred. So apparently in Final Fantasy XIV currently, Thancred gets a new class. I don't know really how it works, but he has a gunblade now, and he really looks awesome. I mean, just Google Gunbreaker Thancred. He really looks badass, and he's got a gunblade, and he does gunblade stuff apparently. So I'm all about gunblades, and so tons of people were like Gunbreaker Thancred, Gunbreaker Thancred. So yeah, and then C. Williams says Trans-Terra on Twitch. Lots of people said Trans-Terra. Harris says Onion Knight will finally be remembered that he's Lunith. Yeah, so yeah, there was a lot of good options. Anything that you guys were thinking of is possible alt characters, real or funny. I mean, I kind of left it up to people's imagination.
Let's see.
You
Mino, you got anything?
Very well. Good job thinking about this.
Well, it's just that I think it's all the funny ones have kind of been said. There were a lot of opera Celeste. There were I saw some adult Param and Porum. So I Zero says I want Holy Dragoon Kain so badly.
Yeah, that'd be a whole different class, right? That makes sense.
I don't need this. Says vegetable cloud wheelchair and all.
I don't want Holy Dragoon Kain to be a separate character because that means I pulled for Kain EX for nothing. So please make his rework one character. Thank you, Square Enix.
Macnol says Mantaquia is my DLC special skin.
Leotard Celeste. But yeah, at some point, it's just the. I understand the system. It works for Sissel because it's really 2 different characters. But I think at some point they're going, if they keep doing this, they're going to be taking costume ideas into characters just to inflate the roster for no good reason.
Exactly. I mean, they've only done 2 of these characters in the course of our next year, right? So it's not like they're throwing characters like this every month. I mean, it's been 2 characters over the course of 10 months. Yeah, it's not super overwhelming.
I hope so, but like,
was there really a need to bring Lise into the game before a whole bunch of other characters?
Exactly. Like Pierre says, Paladin Cecil and Dark Knight Cecil, completely understandable. Different classes, different kits. But Ida and Lise, who both are monks who use chakra in the exact same system, that sets a precedent for them just, instead of costumes, doing new characters.
It really looks like a lazy job.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So, and again, most of the ideas that are being thrown around in Twitch right now, they're more costumes than reworks.
And how are you going to give a different costume to Ida and Lise? Like, that's her alternate costume. Like, what are you going to do for both of their alternate costumes? Like, you can't do anything else. They don't have anything else.
Yeah, Zyros is saying Lise is Shadowbringer's hype, so it's trying to sell the new, it's trying to sell the new expansion to Final Fantasy XIV.
Zyros, as an FF14 player, I don't think Lise is going to be important in the new expansion at all. She had her time in the limelight in the recent expansion, but not the next one. I don't think that's it at all.
Okay, but there again, then I guess whenever another expansion for something's gonna get released, they're gonna mess up. So basically, Lease is just a walking ad board. That's
Yeah, right.
Right, exactly. Like it's ridiculous.
Kodak 6000 says, "Where's Reno?" There's no Turks, right, in this game.
Yeah, like Rick says,
Reno, Rude,
there's more
Elena,
characters.
Zhang,
More
President
characters than you have.
Shinra.
yeah. You've
Like,
got Cypher's little lame pose in there that are
Yeah, right.
garbage, but
Right.
yeah.
they are not. Red 13 still isn't in the game, right? I mean, there's still
What's gonna be his
tons of
weapon?
characters.
Like he's
Hey,
gonna
I
change
bet
his
you-
fangs?
Hairpin.
I
Hairpin.
bet you
his
Red
Ah,
brand.
right.
13 is gonna be saved for the FF7 remake. I bet you. They're just waiting on that to release it.
Isn't that whole thing kind of Duke Nukem Forever going?
Yeah.
No,
pretty
it's
much.
got a release date now, doesn't it?
But if you no, well, I don't know, but if you
Does
think
it?
about it, that's what they did with all the other characters, right? Like Locke was pushed back until his NT release. Renoa was pushed back until the NT release. People were like, the only FF8 character missing was Renoa for over a year. And the reason they waited is because they wanted to sync it up with her NT release. So
Yeah,
I'm saying I would not be surprised
There's
13 was being held back.
yeah, there's no release date for the Final Fantasy VII remake.
No,
Yeah.
I thought they had actually given a date. Nope.
No, that thing is off the chart. It's derailing bad. We don't
there's
have
no
Edward.
cow.
No,
There's
we do
no
not have
cow.
Edward. We do not want Edward. Sorry. You were saying?
Edward. We don't have Edward. Exactly.
I know,
Thank
right?
you.
Where are other characters? Lease?
We don't
over
have
Edward?
any of
Get
the
the hell
Final
outta here.
Fantasy 3 characters from the
Get the-
remake.
Get the hell out of here.
I want Lunith and Ark and
Luneth is in there. He just doesn't know it.
Refia and
I would
what's the other
take
dude?
I would take
Ignis.
I would take other FF mobile games over Lease. I would take whoever the hell the main character of Mobius is, of Brave Exvius is, over fucking Lease. That's just lazy.
Oh.
Ignis, Dragos says on Twitch.
Ignis.
Yeah,
not
the other FF15 character.
Yeah, because what's the no, but like in Final Fantasy 3, it's Ignis is Final Fantasy 15. It's very similar in Final Fantasy 3, but it's not the same, right?
They have
Final
Refia.
Fantasy. No, it's
Wait,
Ingus.
Angus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So Final Fantasy 3 is Ingus. Final Fantasy 15 is Ignis. Right? There you go.
Yeah.
Ingus. Like Dingus.
I'm not a big fan of the 3 alts because it's gonna be like FF5 where they just mishmash a bunch of classes, right? Like they don't have unique personalities. It's just throw in a bunch of classes. So I'll skip on those.
Ark and Lunith are childhood friends, and Rifia is their other friend, and then Ingus is that other guy.
Yeah.
And they ride chocobos
Mhm.
and go on adventures.
Yeah.
With the Onion Knights.
Yeah. Everyone in Twitch chat's listing a million characters that they can pick.
So-
Pierre, what's on the schedule?
Wait, I'm gonna derail this podcast.
Sure.
Solid. I just during your talk I just searched for FF3 cast and I ended up total left field. I'm on a IMDb fan page right now. It's called Final Fantasy VI Live Action Cast, and it has I don't know. It's someone's made up list of whose actors should play who. So I'm gonna give you a few names, and you tell me what you think. Okay?
Oh my god.
So Tara Brentford, Emma Watson. For
I could see Emma Watson doing its good Tara. Yeah, that's good.
Cyan, Benicio del Toro.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Keanu Reeves,
Okay.
Shadow.
Oh, Keanu Reeves would make a great Shadow.
You guys know who Amaury Nolasco is?
No.
No? Okay.
I not the way you're saying it.
Yeah. Margot Robbie,
Yeah. As
Celestia.
Celeste. Yeah, I can
Yep.
see.
Jennifer Lawrence as either Celeste or Tara.
No, screw
She would do a good Tara. Let's see. Ben Foster as Kefka.
Oh yeah. What's Ben Foster been in? I forget.
I don't know. The
Yeah,
first thing says that his younger brother's actor John. So yeah, let's. Tom Hardy as Kefka.
Star Shadow says, "Stop reading now."
No,
Chat's going crazy. Chat's going crazy.
no, this is
Chad
great.
does not approve of this list. Chad does not approve.
Oh, a good one here. Bryan Cranston. We all know who this is, right?
General Leo.
Bannon or Emperor Gestal.
What the fuck? Okay.
All right.
I think we...
Yeah, I'm gonna stop. It's just that this is.
Okay, guys. Sorry, guys. We're stopping.
So what are the coming events? Oh, we don't have any idea because we haven't gotten our calendar yet.
Coming events. So coming events.
I'm gonna post a link in the show notes if anybody wants more torture.
Go for it. But a lot of people are complaining about the difficulty of Deuce X. Not that we know what's coming up next, but it could make the event a lot easier. Palom EX would 100% make the event easier.
Sorry, Dwayne Johnson is realm.
No worries. But because Palom becomes the strongest magic AoE DPS when he launches. So if he comes on time, then he'll be great for this event. Kuja as well. If he comes early, according to GL schedule, he'll be amazing for this event. So I'm saying don't despair, guys. Some of these EXs, I feel like they stick around for 2 weeks, right, Mark? And a lot of the characters we're getting in advance will ease the difficulty. Possibly.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, we do have a mobile stream before we meet next week, right? So
Monday,
on the 27th? Oh, is it Monday?
Oh, well, okay. Monday global time. Is it Sunday? I don't know. But Monday official time.
Okay, on the 24th. Or 25th. I don't know.
25th anyway. UTC.
All right. Super.
So I guess this wraps it up. Sorry, I'm still laughing over some of the things that are going on in Twitch about my my absolutely ridiculous list. I saw one for Final Fantasy VII, but I'm gonna spare you. I'll just say this: there's either Leonardo DiCaprio or Brad Pitt as Sephiroth. So that's all I'll say. Neither of them are good matches, but yeah, this is just funny. So yeah, any last words?
Is that our community question of the week? Who would you?
What is our Mark? Come on, really quick. What's our community question of the week?
I don't.
Aria just said, if Barrett is not played by Mr. T, then no.
A pity a fool.
I'll have to admit, he would be perfect.
Oh my goodness. Well, right now, our community question of the week is, who should play your favorite Final Fantasy character?
Kriese says, just going to say we lost.
Final Fantasy on the live action.
Yeah, we lost 10% of the viewers once Pierre started his IMDb deep dive.
Good job.
Good job, Pierre.
Good job.
Aren't you glad I'm back?
All right.
That was good, and sorry for the people who felt it was undue torture. All right, so that was our attempt at episode 47, recorded on March 21st, 2019. Remember, there's I need to stop watching the Twitch chat. This is destroying my concentration. Not that there was a lot to begin with, but yeah. So yeah, remember there's the Square Enix stream that's going to be coming, and we'll definitely have a whole lot more to talk about next week because we'll have an actual calendar. So yeah, that's gonna be it for us. Stick around, have fun, play the game, don't take it too seriously, and we'll see you next week. See ya.